Welcome back to round number 5 of the EPIC44 tournament, as we're ready to get into the last couple of stretches of those best of ones, those dicey best of ones. We've seen a couple of teams choke. There's some frustration in some solo games, but for now, we're going to have a very important game for both of these teams. Adept versus yappachino.
Yeah, we're getting to the business end of the best of ones here. Both teams coming off the back of a 13-0 victory in their previous games. Yeah, very good vibes. I mean, a good warm-up after the break, I think. Just quick little 13-0, get the reps in. Yeah, Adept's currently undefeated, actually, as well. Currently 3 wins and 1 draw to their name. And Yap almost matching that record. 3 wins and 1 loss to their name. Both teams in playoff contention. And both, both with a very good record. Obviously, the winner of this will be ahead of the other.
Yeah, it's gonna be indeed, especially because TLR is in this competition, of course. Well, we do hear the cheers from yappachino already as they win the knife round. We do have them with 1 loss, so they lost to TLR. TLR is still up for Adept Club to be played, so that will likely be a win for TLR. So they're gonna be fighting for 2nd spot, and Adept, they are in a great position to get this win here. I actually costed Yano a couple weeks back in a 2v2 tournament, so that is going to be fun to see. Well, we've seen yappachino win the knife. What side would you start?
It's Anubis. You got to start on the T side. I mean, it's such a strong side. It's easily the most T-sided map in the pool right now. Obviously, previous game on stream, we saw BUHM putting up a very solid T-side to keep themselves in a contention in a game that really they shouldn't have had any chance in.
It has changed a bit, though. I mean, we're seeing, especially at some higher level games, we're seeing like some big CT streaks being built.
Yeah,
so
some teams becoming CT specialists on Anubis, which is something that I really like. That's one of the reasons I love Anubis. The fact it's so T-sided in general, but when you get a CT side that works absolutely perfectly, you are in such a good position for the map.
We need more extremes, right? Everything. I don't know why, but there's always been this strive. I mean, it was Index, Harry playing for Stratbase. We'll get a game of them on the stream, don't you worry. But yeah, he mentioned it on Twitter as well, that a lot of these maps now are striving so much to be 50-50 that it kind of loses the magic of, okay, most games on Nuke were quite boring way back, but if not, you know, it would have been great. And on Train as well, I think Old Train is a great example, because it would pretty much always be an 11-4 half. And, you know, if it was 12-3, you'd really have a tough task. And then, you know, if it was 10-5, it's like, oh, we got this. So it was always fun.
Yeah, there's a reason the Train was so beloved and that they brought it back.
So. But we're into the game. And is this going to be aggression early on?
Yeah, early B main aggression coming out here for Adept Club, but the sound of the P250 ringing out makes them double back on themselves.
Which is completely understandable.
Yep. Obviously, against Glocks, you get dinked to that range, you should be okay. P250, no chance.
Nice. It's a triple push out of cave. That is
very
a lot of map control.
But it has left the B site completely empty, and the T's have found the perfect route through Palace.
Tracking back.
Yeah, CT's having to come back, but Nexi shooting them in the back of the head. Only gets the dink. Eventually finishes off Yano, and Lions chimes in as well. Faye managing to get the kill onto Nexi, making this still potentially doable for Adept, but bomb down. Very anchored positions here from the T's. 2 inside con, 2 inside main. In great positions to trade, and as soon as Faye falls, yeah, this is going to be very difficult now.
Yeah, I don't see this really happening. Lions with a very nice shot. Aki will not find much. By the audio, I'm trying to sort of triangulate the positions. I'm pretty sure these teams are very close to each other in the arena, so that is some fun. You can go for the old strategy, just start yelling bonsai and just rushing aside so they don't hear you, which has worked in the past epics.
Yeah, just drown out any sound that your opponent might get.
Usually slightly frowned upon, but gotta do what you gotta do.
Oh, come on! If the Alexi scream works fine, then that's absolutely fine.
Got a force bomb on the CT side, and it's set up in a correct position. Aki braves the molly for a bit, but won't find much.
Yeah, when Faye falls, then Lions double kill are opening up mid completely. Do see a rotation from Zerx, but holds to that position. Nice shot onto Nexi, however. But still, A site undefended. Will allow the bomb plant to come in for the T side.
Yeah, it's like who's gotten out of that 13-0 the best, right? Because you could also get like a bit light, you know, get a bit
complacent.
Yeah,
that was the
word I was looking for.
Yeah.
So we see these pistols clean up a bit.
Yeah, Blaze potentially looking to do some damage. Has recovered an AK, which is
Bomb hasn't been planted.
Bomb has been planted, but
it wasn't planted for that long, is what I was trying to say.
Considering how long they had the site, the fact it took them a while to plant, maybe just taking that little extra precaution, knowing that you won the pistol and they may force in.
Yeah.
You could have an MP9 lurking inside main that could, you know, shred you to pieces given the right opportunity.
Yeah, that would have. Usually, I think the success of force buys on the Anubis is quite low. I mean, it's not like it's an Inferno or a Nuke where if you see an opposition, like if you see the CT side with 5-7, it's like, well, this will most likely be a CT win.
Yeah, the thing about Anubis is the CT aggression is one of the best ways to earn rounds on your CT side, but that's very resource intensive. If you invest into the util to do that, you're going to be low on weapons. So
you just have to watch Mongols demos, and then you know how to play CT side Anubis. But then you also have to hit shots like they do, and that's kind of where it goes wrong.
Yeah, that is quite difficult when you got an IGL who pretty consistently drops over a 1.1 rating. Then
I hope they do well in the PGL.
I'd love to.
They're playing right now, if I'm correct.
Are they playing right? I thought they lost to Astralis.
Or later tonight. No, they're in the playoffs. Did they lose to? No.
They lost to Astralis, I believe.
They're in playoffs. Yeah, earlier on in the group stage they did.
Oh, okay.
But they're in playoffs. Someone predicted, the Statsmeister on Twitter predicted Mongols versus EF final.
That'd be really great on paper, assuming both teams don't choke in an arena.
Well, 2 kills through.
Yeah, we're actually seeing the pistols do quite a bit of work here. Has got it into a 2 versus 3, but as soon as Chippo takes down Aki, then leaves it all on Faye, and they are going to have to do quite a lot. Do get the opening onto Chippo. They do have the potential to make it happen, especially with that shot onto Nero. But Lions taking position inside Palace. Yes, Faye such low HP, and back turned. Lions does spare yappachino's blushes against the eco.
That was a great shot. That second to last one, that through the smoke. That's just regularly good, and then this is exceptionally good.
I don't know how they hit that. I do not know how they hit that. That's brilliant.
That's crazy. That's crazy good. Righto, so we do have the 3-0 start on the T side, which is unsurprising, and I do also very much appreciate Adept really leaning into having that AWP out.
Yeah, getting the big green online early can be very decisive. Swing a CT round in your favor, potentially break the economies of the T. That's the best way that you can get some rounds, by giving your enemy as little to work with as possible. You're going to see early E-box aggression coming out. Ziggs going to be caught out, and that's a double opening. We do see a team kill, though, in the meantime. Nexy taking down his own teammate in Lions.
Shouldn't matter, right?
No, I think bomb going down now, but Chippo overswitching welcome slightly, not taking it into the corner, allows Faye to maybe bring this back into contention for Adept Club.
It is a pretty good setup.
Yeah, Yano setting up Faye. Out towards the connector, clearing it out, but Mr. Nexy here does only go one and done. Yano taking him down.
Smoke on the bomb.
And yeah, taking down Reese as well, leaving it all on Nero stuck inside main.
Why is Aki defusing? Why is Aki defusing? That's 10 seconds.
No kit, but Yano does just about make amends for that. I mean, yeah.
They make it work.
Maybe a little, okay, maybe slightly lucky to escape with that one. If the spray from Reese was slightly more on target, then yeah, you're going to be kicking yourself that it wasn't the kit player defusing. So maybe a little bit of miscommunication there for the side of Adept. Yeah,
but still making it work. And I mean, it's easier to trade with the rifle than with the AWP.
That is true.
That.
Obviously, the missed AWP shot would be brutal, because then you've got both players exposed.
So in that way, I think they did make the correct choice.
Yeah, that's understandable.
We are seeing a lot of early util consistently from yappachino towards middle. And this time it's one Molotov short of what they do regularly. But one thing that I do notice is a possible slight weakness over towards A main at the start. Adept Club, if they're forced into a corner, as long as the CT side is running, we might see some aggression there, which could potentially be very good for them. Yano's going to deal with the lurk, and Faye with only 2.
Double kill, yeah. Nero does eventually take them down, but Yano coming back from A main finishes off the remaining 2 yappachino players. Adept crawling their way back into this.
I had the 4K call lined up and ready. I had it cocked back. I was ready to say it.
But, don't get too ahead of yourself.
Just two for Faye. But easily dealing with the Tech 9s, just losing 1. It's a lot better than what you're used to in rounds like that. And this is looking pretty solid. I mean, to be fair, in these pistol rounds we were also seeing Adept Club, at least their positioning being correct, right? So it's not necessarily, yeah, you're going to lose the gunfights anyways, but...
Yeah, but no solid mistakes in their default strategies for the rounds. A little bit light on YouTube here are yappachino. Nexi and Nero coming into it with very little. Nero coming in with absolutely nothing, to be honest. So, you can't get less than that. Ooh, Aki's AWP does ring out, and Chippo Hippo capitalizing on the back of the missed shot to take A main control, but it is being watched here by 2 Adept players. Aki's AWP posted with Yano offering support from the heaven.
First time we're seeing yappachino just actually go for a default here. As it's not any goals set in mind just yet. Of course, they have taken a couple meters for pretty much the surprise of a single flashbang over towards A. See the heavy, there's a heavy shift over towards A. Adept Club probably won't be sustainable to hold that as they are rotating already. This could be a fake throw for yappachino because they got 3 players lined up. Where is the bomb? Bomb is on B. Enter on A now.
Yeah, A execute beginning. Flash is being exchanged by both players. And yes, it has drawn 2 Adept players from that B bomb site, leaving Zerx all alone here. But Yano and Zerx getting kills in sync. Calling the rotate over here for the rest of Adept. And there's going to have to be straight gunfights.
What?
Nero goes 1 and done. The MP9 ablaze. Yeah, so much for that nerf, mate.
Yeah, triple dink, raining it out. We see Aki's shots missing as it gives Reese an opportunity to find Yano on the wide swing. 4v2 gets pulled back.
Yeah, Lions taking down Faye, making it into a 2 versus 2. Missed shot coming out from Aki as Blaze falls. Leaves it all on the AWPer. Switches over to the rifle. Has to go aggressive, really. It does take down Lions. 1 versus 1 now. Reese tucked outside of the connector. Low HP on Aki, half HP on Reese.
Just stick it.
Yeah,
just legit, just stick it.
Wrist, but no, just a little tap. Reese gives his position away and loses his life. Aki, the balls to stick that, not to tap that, and then re-aggress in towards E-Box. Adept Club tying it up now. 3 apiece, and that AWP is recovered.
Those are the land nerves.
Yeah.
Very, very. There aren't many players that will be in this situation. Three wins for both, and then just have the cojones to sit and wait, call the bluff. As soon as you call the bluff once, you've pretty much won already, because then you have them under your thumb. But that is a very good save, because mind you, that was a 4 versus 2. Adept Club were supposed to win that round. Yeah, it happens with a nice clutch, but
yeah,
they nearly threw it away.
It looked very much like yappachino were going to find their way back into that round,
Yeah.
that 4 versus 2 with 2 players going down very early.
It's going to be a tough loss for them, going back to Deeks.
Yeah, down to pistols. No real
Deagle
utility.
Croft, by the way. The most battle-scarred Crimson Deagle he has. But, call me Own a Pixel.
Yeah, I like that M4. What is it?
Welcome to
M4 Saurus.
Welcome to Epic Land Eco Round Edition, where
welcome to this edition of Skimwatch. Anyway, Aki getting the pick into me.
Oh, he's got the chrome. Oh, that's only $130. Bummer.
Oh, that's a good old Boreal, that is.
That's beautiful. Leaded glass.
Oh, that's a classic skin. I used to have one of those.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, Aki's just cleaning up here.
Anyway, is there still Counter-Strike on the screen?
Yeah, apparently, but this game is more than just skins.
You know, I think for most it isn't.
Anyway,
for some.
yappachino are going to be walking into an absolute stack here.
Yeah. Faye, you get a nice shot. Nice double, actually, for Faye. As Faye on Anubis, I do have some very fond memories of casting Faye in a best of 3, both on Dust 2 and Anubis. They went ballistic. 2 lands ago, and it was very, very exciting Counter-Strike to watch. So, shout out. And now, with 8 on the board together with Yano, unsurprisingly leading the way.
Yeah, Lions matching them for the side of yappachino, but the fact Adept have 2 players currently topping the server, giving them a slight edge potentially. And we are actually seeing a CT side leading currently. So if they're able to sustain this, they're going to be in a very good position for the remainder of the game.
And yappachino, whilst I did like that fake throw, it did miss a bit of spice, a bit of zest, right? A bit of lemon zest on there, a bit of freshness. No sauce, saltless, that food. But yeah, yappachino. These defaults, they do feel somewhat uninspired, right? This is a very, very standard default setup. They have the conditioning towards middle. Adept Club, knowing that that double molly is going to come in, they're not going to be challenging over towards mid, but this is massive information. And yappachino are not covering for this. There's going to be a rotate instantly towards A.
Yeah, we do see Blaze fading over towards that side of the map. Obviously, upon the reaction to the con presence, clearing up B main, calling that clear, knowing that it has to be this A side or towards mid.
Oh,
we
what
do
an
see the
opening.
execute coming in. Chippo does come down with 1, and Lions calls Yano. Blaze chiming in here from camera. Only goes 1 and done. Reese is Orp bringing out into a 2 versus 3 now in favor of yappachino.
Do you even want to go for this? Might as well save that AWP.
I mean,
you got the cash.
They've got a
but
decent amount of money.
you won't have the next round.
Yeah, that is the problem. So, yeah, you can buy into the next, but you won't really be able to buy in after that. That's a UK flash. And yeah, as soon as Zerx falls, Aki has to save this.
Yeah. And Nexi, Mr. Nexi won't trade on time. So yeah, we do see the saved AWP. And luckily, they still listen to us, at least somewhat.
Yeah. Only occasionally, but...
There was a time, I think it was EPIC44, where all the caster booths were open. So if we would want, we could yell at the players, which we actually did in between maps, just yell at them. Get more kills!
Yeah,
which was very fun.
Very fun, but also you can understand why they take it away.
Yes.
just in case there was something a bit malicious.
Yes, we definitely were malicious, so that may have been my fault. But
ruining it for the rest of us.
I mean, it's what I'm here for. You know, call me international spy. Right. Well, we did see the A side take work out for yappachino, mostly because of Chippo's very, very nice entry kill through that smoke. If that doesn't come through, then the round's pretty much gone.
Yeah, I think if Chippo doesn't get that early entry and the instant reply on the trade, then I think yappachino would have lost that round. And as you were saying earlier, their defaults have been uninspiring. They have looked at their most dangerous in those early rounds where they were playing more fast. So,
and it's also right, like yeah, you win that round, but it was still pretty dicey. It wasn't like a guaranteed kill that Chip would have that. So now again, Adept Club sort of mistiming their information play, but the Util coming in.
Yeah, B-side almost completely empty. Aki only now rotating back through Palace. Nade missing its mark and not getting any information of it. Nexi clearing out Connector with 2. And Adept, 3 versus 5 retake of the B site. They're choosing to save, get out of there, carry the weapons over. Rather understandably, because, yeah, well, Aki has money. The rest of the team are working with peanuts here. So carrying these are 2 M4s over. Aki potentially able to drop 2. Will allow a buy into the next one for Adept. But Reese going hunting. Caught out, however, clearing the tight angle, not looking at the far one. So
that's a bummer. Could go for the double off.
That is the AWP foot going down, but potentially recoverable unless you're all going for a con. Aki taking this AWP away would be big, and he does go down. Fake falling as well, leaving it all on Yano. So that triple save that would have potentially facilitated a buy, it's now just 1. And can you really justify that if you're Adept Club?
Not really. It was a pretty fast hunt. You could have just settled into the A-bomb side. It's teams, I think, with how, like all of the tier 1 teams, they have like multiple saving setups already in place. So they can just give a call, and you'd go like, oh yeah, it's like leaf or something, and then you know exactly where you want to go save and how you want to save, yada yada yada. but yeah, we're not seeing that to a great amount.
Well, Aki purchasing into an M44 this round does find the opening onto Nero. So that could potentially make another rifle acquirable, and Faye with a nice shot onto Nexi.
Again,
this low buy could work out in favor of Adept Club.
their dig is going to get more.
Yeah, Faye's dig has absolutely been
Or not.
clearing up, but not on this occasion. Reese taking them down. And yeah, from what was looking like a very promising CT round, that's kind of fallen away from Adept. Aki could be very isolated here as soon as this smoke fades. Lions is low HP, however. And that is an opening, and Yano chiming in as well. Suddenly, just like that, it's all on Reese. Yeah, his position is compromised.
He needs to get the bomb. It's dropped in that back corner.
Yeah, waiting out the nade, but there's a second one should Yano choose to deploy it. Bomb has been acquired. M4 dropped and AK retrieved. Reese definitely heard that.
This is an awkward fight.
Yeah, it appears as if Yano's caught in two minds. It looked like they were going to fade round to potentially flank, but choosing to hold firm and double back to support their teammate. And well, does look like the right call at the moment. Reese does manage to cross and get through towards A stairs.
Another chance.
Yeah, Yano falling back towards the A site. 15 seconds on the clock now, and they're choosing to run up Canal. Aki gets the information on the spot, and Reese goes down 5 apiece here. This is a good game.
Oh, that was very awkward 1 versus 1, and I started to realize, like, from the way these defaults, these round starts have been going, Adept Club have been quite set on their timing when to take control, and of course you don't want to play with that too much, as it would cause significant chaos. The timing's been awkward. You need some very, very high level calling to get a significant advantage with the way these teams are playing right now. So let's see if actually those calls will come through, or if it will be mostly the aim.
Anyway, yappachino going back to the fast rounds that had been working for them. Chippo, the only rifle for the T-side, did get 1 and doubles up, but still in a 2 versus 3. Reese only on a Glock. Chippo has to be the hero in this round, and falling like that should be a cleanup here for Adept. Reese burning in the Molotov, does pick himself up the AWP.
No way.
Missed shot, however, Blaze. Up to 6 now for Adept Club. This is a very strong CT side for them.
It was a very, very ambitious peak to go for that.
Yeah.
Flick. Gotta be honest.
You've got the AWP, you've got the one-shot weapon, you've got no armor. Realistically, you should be slowing it down, trying to make the CTs
those
double
shoulders,
think. Catch one off on a timing, and then you're down to the 1 versus 1, and the round is very much winnable. I think.
Nope, just fly in, hit the
a little too overconfident there.
Probably just yelling in the team speak, "Call me Monacy" right before he peaks, and then.
Watch this.
Or am I the only one that does that? I'm probably not, right? Going, watch this, and then just dying.
See, I yell Hooksy because I know I'm not going to hit anything.
But still make great calls. Flashbang doesn't go deep enough, but
Blaze's aim's good enough.
Certainly does.
Yappachino truly trying to take mid-control.
This was bound to happen at some point, right? That the aggression was going to go to the correct spot.
Yeah, the team kill coming in from Chippo, making amends for it with the kill onto Faye. AWP from Aki does ring out and get the trade. Yano, sole defender of this A site, able to get 1. Bomb plant is only tapped, and Yano chasing down Reese as the support of his teammates. Now Zerk's finishing it off. A 7-5 half coming in here from Adept Club. On the T-sided map, the CTs come away with a half lead.
Yeah, looking good. We've got no one really lacking behind in the kills department. Everyone chiming in, not like last game that I cost at least. But yeah, it's only at the end that you see the push from Adept actually connect to where the default was from yappachino. And I do have a feeling Adept Club, mostly with Faye in there, Faye and Yano, that's a lot of power that you can have on the entries, right? So it does give them a bit more freedom. As the entry frags from yappachino were a couple of good ones, but, you know, can't really keep relying on an AK going through a smoke, to be fair.
Yeah, Chippo getting a lot of very jammy kills in that half, I have to admit. And obviously it was working out for him. He was cracking open bomb sites, but it's not something you can rely upon constantly.
No, we're going to have the first tech pause. So I'm gonna have a seat.
Yeah, take a little load off for a minute.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be fixed soon. And I reckon with the team that we have, it will be. Finn probably hoping he doesn't have to get called out of his chair, but don't know if that will be the case. Of course, pistol round again going to be important. Just talked to Lake from 8 Sins. Had a bit of a chat about pistol rounds, and we were also kind of mentioning back and forth, like, yeah, that the importance really is there, because is it 8 Sins? Yeah. Or Vapiro Academy, I apologize. Vapiro Academy. They did lose one game already versus Belfast Storm. They did beat them before, but then losing the pistol, lost both pistols, did they? So yeah, it's not going to be that nice heading into the best of ones. Right?
Giving yourself a pistol round victory, especially on a map like Anubis where the force buys are so difficult to win. It can really impact, because if you get the first one, they force in, you win that as well. You get the third one basically for free, and that's basically a quarter of the rounds needed done.
It's the most important round.
Definitely.
Just in general, the second half pistol really sets the momentum for that for those final couple. We're not seeing any dualies. We're not seeing any P250s. We're going to go with quite a bit of util, at least from T-side. Let's see what Adept will use this for.
Yeah, a lot of flashes.
A fake towards A. And just a
util
fake.
Has drawn a rotation, though, but only momentarily. We do see Reese rotating back. Yeah, they are playing very passive on this A site. Bomb now spotted, and the double dig from the Glock of Zerx. Taking down Nexi. And Faye choosing to aggress on the back of this, trying to take long control away. Gets the first onto Reese. The kit is also dropped in the long tunnel. Faye, that double kill could prove absolutely massive, and they want more. Continuing to hunt, do get put down by Nero. So, but it's 4 versus 2 in favour of the T sides. This is going to be really difficult for yappachino, and I don't think, just get out of there, save the kit, carry it over. It sucks, but it's something that you won't have to buy into the next.
Missing all of those shots that don't know.
Ooh, nice shot there from Chippo.
How is Zerx alive? He should have been dead about a second into that side take. He gets the long range kill deep into CT somehow, and then is still alive for that. I don't know how Nero missed that many shots. They probably didn't know Zerx was that low, which that call should have come through. But only aiming for the headshot, he is 25 HP and gets himself a triple.
Yeah, that's
how.
He's just a slippery little bugger.
Yeah,
you can't get a hold of him.
You watch Zaiwu demos from that pillar position. Absolutely, saw some analyst videos about that. How if Zaiwu is on that platform, he is never giving you a fight.
Yeah,
he just doesn't peek. It's insane.
A hide and seek champion at that point. Anyway, the Astralis stack coming in here for yappachino, hoping for some B aggression, but it doesn't look like it's going to be coming.
What was the song again? I got. They're over halfway there. I got 7 Mech 11s, about 8:30. Oh, that's Mech 11s. It's Mech 10s. I'm an idiot.
I thought you were going 11 on a prayer there, so we went a completely different wrong way.
But it's 4 Mech 10s. You must mention that somewhere in the song. 4 Mech 10s. Whatever. Well, that is a pretty big commitment, though, is what I was going to say about it before my horribly failed attempt at a joke. It is a pretty big commitment, because if all these Mech 10s are going to stay alive, that pretty much forces your hand for the round right after this one.
Yeah, and being USPs into this one for yappachino, they will be buying into rifles potentially, which will definitely benefit them at range. So, Adept almost force themselves into something fast in the next, unless the rifle Zerx can properly crack something open.
Hey, finally someone's firing bullets.
Yeah.
Took a while. Took a while to get that going. Unicorn bomb plan at least. This is a weird strategy for yappachino, but well, one of the weirder rounds we've had today, at least for me.
Yeah, but Mac 10's able to farm up a decent chunk of money there. I believe it was only 1 kill from Faye with the USP.
Yeah.
So $600 a piece. Not going to complain about that.
Well. We got a 4-round lead now already for Adepts. They're looking very, very good, and of course, Yano and Faye. They're at the top. leading the way. I mean, there is a big reliance on them for Adept. Like, if they don't perform, you know, it's going to be rough.
Yeah, they are leading the way, but we have seen also big rounds from the likes of Aki and Blaze that have kept the very, especially when it was getting very neck and neck, those two getting very important rounds to, you know, keep Adept Club in it, and now eventually that has built to them taking this lead.
And not as much aggression from yappachino. Of course, they don't really have the util for it. I was expecting a commitment into a FAMAS or two, as that would actually give you a Molotov and smokes to work with. As now you're just going to eat the grenade. Lions are hungry, everyone knows that. And it's going to be the cave pop.
Yeah, can really test this B side, and Reese able to get the first, but doubles up for himself. But two trades either way, make it 3 in favor of Adept Club. Blaze's Mac 10, sorry. You got me wrong with the Mac 11. Now I'm getting the SMGs wrong. My mistakes are always your fault. That's the rule of casting.
You're not the first to say that.
No. And I won't be the last.
No, that is pretty true as well.
Anyway, yeah, it looks like these rifles are going to be saved.
And yeah, and their hand was forced, right? We do see a cave pop. We do see a very short distance side take, which you could have read if you're yappachino. It's always a bit risky because sometimes, especially at this level, teams are like, sometimes they just rush A with Mac 10s, not necessarily because of the smartness of the decision, more because they just don't consider cave an option. But it's going to be double digits already. yappachino maybe need a bit of a chino in there.
Yeah.
Need a bit of coffee, need a bit of caffeine.
Yeah, not looking like they're going to break Adept's unbeaten streak at this point. So
not looking like a 13-0 either.
No. So yeah, maybe the warm-up game in the previous was maybe slightly more in favor of Adept.
Yeah. But this round's going to be important as well. Again, no FAMASs. I'm somewhat struggling to comprehend it, but
I mean, you're being out-aimed somewhat by Adept, so buying into the M4s is not really going to benefit you anyway. You need to outplay them with the utility and going for these straight-up fights. Yeah, FaZe Mac 10 taking down Nero.
There is finally a push, right? This aggression is absolutely
B main
forced.
will catch Faye out, take it back to a 3 versus 3, and Nexy's still going hunting through the T-spawn, but the bomb making its way onto this A site. No one in position to defend it. Reese the closest port of call, but even he is choosing to regroup with the rest of his team.
Reese should have been within range of those footsteps. Doesn't look like they actually heard it.
Yeah, but potentially instead going hunting for the upgraded weapon.
Very
for the
spread out. Why? One by one.
Aki, that's an easy enough kill for him, and even he's got some support inside A main. Lions has to get this opening kill on towards the player in Paul, but instead Aki with another one. Lions, no kit on your person. You need to. You can't win this. You need to save.
As a hill of lead flying through that smoke, it's gonna be. It's going to be the AK, but it's eventually taking him down.
Yeah,
and that is
Aki with the 3K in that post plant, getting all 3 for himself. So coming up big in that round. But it just seems so disjointed here from yappachino. They don't look like they're playing a proper team game. They seem to be a team of individuals.
Yeah, that retake had the strength of a Subway sandwich, where it just kind of fell apart by looking at it. You should not go that early if you're Reese there, right? That's a very sloppy way of retaking anything. And I think that also might be nerves, that might be focus, right? We're already 5 hours deep, or 5 games deep. We're going to start seeing mistakes at some point, but Adept Club, they're making very few, with finally the FAMASs being out and some util to exit out of A.
Yeah,
boom.
The aggression coming out there from yappachino does get a 1-for-1 trade, and potentially an upgrade from the FAMAS to the AK, which has now been picked up
and
by
map
Nero.
control.
Yeah, look at the T's, they're all grouped up towards B main. And yappachino got the perfect read. They do seem to be fading away now, do Adept Club. Trying to maybe try and work mid a little bit. Nero could be caught out and is by Faye.
Well,
yeah, mid aggression coming through. They are going to make their way onto the A site. Reese trying to fight through the smoke, but Blaze was that just an instinctual spam? Because that was absolutely.
That was a 180.
That was just ludicrous there.
And that ties the round up. That's a knot.
Yeah,
that's sent away.
Yep. Next he's like, yeah, I'm not even going to go for this. Chippo getting himself out of there as well. this is going to be a match point for Adept Club, and it was really back and forth earlier, but since then, yappachino have just not been in this game at all. Blaze taking down Chippo in the end as well. You're just going to have this M4 into the next. Nexi has to be the absolute hero in this last round.
Adept Club have gotten 10 points every single round. God Zombie style, just boarding up those bombs, or boarding up those bomb sites. They're not letting yappachino get back into anything.
Yeah, shut those windows up. You're not breaking these down.
It's, man, they have gotten nothing to say in the second half. Absolutely nothing. Adept are going to go 4-4. Well, unbeaten, 4 wins, 1 tie.
Yeah, four without defeat, or 5 without defeat, I guess. So,
and I mean, they've been there, right? They've been up there, you know, getting to some lower bracket playoff spots and whatnot, right? They've been there, but I think it was with X-Ravel at some point as well. A couple of these. But looking at it now, they are in great shape because yappachino haven't been playing half bad at all.
No, you know, like we said, yappachino looking very strong early, but since then, Adept have just controlled the game entirely. The heavy nade to counter the AP main aggression. And Aki and Zerk cleaning it up.
This is it.
Yeah, Lions and Reese have to go absolutely nuclear to defend this B site, and unfortunately, I just do not see it happening. Adept not overly aggressing, just taking everything very precautiously. We do see Yano making his way in towards A main and potentially pushing in ahead of the smoke. I don't think Nero's going to be ready for this. Not at all. And the B main aggression. Aki with a double kill. Nero 1 versus 5. I think this is it. Yeah. Tie it up, put a bow on it, and give the points to Adept Club.
The frag on Nero waiting. It's just going to be delivery costs.
Yeah, Blaze waiting for a drop down, but it's not going to come. I think Faye's going to be the one to put the nail in the coffin. But no, they do fall to Nero, so someone else will have the honor.
1v5. Nero versus the world. Can he burn down the hopes of Adept Club? Well, with one.
Okay, double spray after a smoke. Suddenly, this is getting interesting. Time is ticking low, however.
He's never checking Zergs.
No. You got 2 angles to check, and yeah, Zergs does finish it off eventually. I got overexcited for nothing. Okay.
Yeah,
okay, it was a cool double spray down, though.
It was a beautiful one. Straight through that smoke. I wish we could have. Can we get the replay? Is that replay of Blaze's 180? Is that in here? Because I really want to see it. It was after this round, right? Pretty sure it was.
Yeah, the mid aggression.
Oh, we just missed it. But that was a ridiculous kill.
Yeah.
He was just straight running and just went a full 180 and hit that headshot. That's a tilter. And, well, we've had a couple of more of those moments for yappachino here. They will have the unfortunate honor of being the lowest round scoring team on the live stream for today. And we've also had the Binman versus TLR played earlier, so that does tell you.
Never underestimate the Binman.
No,
never
that does kind of
Binman.
tell you what type of performance this was from yappachino. At some point, that train got disconnected at every single notch. It was just 5 carriages riding solo. Yeah, they're going to the same bomb site, same line, but they're not arriving at the same time, and everything kind of went for them, right?
Yes, and it does come down to what we said earlier. The defaults didn't really look as cohesive. It's when they were taking their initiative as a team, doing the micromanaging calls, that they were at their best. So I think it looks like they need more reps, to be honest. I think that's the most simple way of putting it.
Yeah, there is some value to be had at, of course, like the mental game as well. And I think in terms of aim, especially if we look at some of the earlier rounds, I also do think it's indeed like some mental, and I think also partly because the preparation from Anubis might not have been there. Because there were some rounds where it is a somewhat logical result that you either lose or win it, but there was no like mental note made of it. Like, okay, this works, this doesn't, let's adapt to that. Pun unintended, by the way, but let's adapt to that and then just try and see how we can sort of mold our T side, mold our CT side, and it was just right, same default, let's get in. Hey, we got a kill. All right, round win. Perfect, beautiful. But you didn't see like any real eureka moment from them.
Yeah, that is to be said.
But Yeah, so that is going to be Adept Club staying flawless.
Well, not quite flawless. They're undefeated.
Undefeated.
They do have a tough game coming up, don't they? So
yeah, TLR.
TLR,
TLR will be up next for them. We will have 2 more banging games coming up. We have, of course, been One Wing and Sheep, and we'll be back later today. Bye-bye.